Hey now, today we're going to take a look at Monsters and Maidens from Game Salute and Clever Mojo Games. This is a dice chucking game in sort of the Yahtzee style King of Tokyo mechanic, as so many games tend to be nowadays. And it's a competitive game where you're trying to get the most points. You're going to get points from rescuing maidens, or capturing maidens, or taking them. Because how this is going to work is that you have these dice, you're going to roll them all on your turn. If they come up as maidens, you get them. If you, I don't know what you're doing with them at first, but then there's going to be monsters and heroes that may, if the monsters outnumber the heroes, the monsters will capture the maiden dice, but then if you roll more heroes and monsters, then you can actually rescue the maiden dice, and you're going to keep rolling until you either don't want to roll anymore and you want to score, or until one of the conditions is met and you can't. I really just explained the entire game, but I'll go ahead and do another overview anyways, then we're going to come back and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of Monsters and Maidens. This is a competitive dice rolling game where the goal is to, well, rescue maidens and keep them from being captured by monsters. You're a big brave hero, or at least mercifully they gave you a female hero card if you are actually female. That was very, very nice of them to do, even though they had to be apparently complained at in order to get that to happen. Otherwise, the normal hero card looks like this, which, whatever. So we use the female hero card here instead. So you're trying to rescue maidens and keep them from being captured, and you're going to do this through rolling dice. You're trying to get the most victory points, which maidens are points, of course, by the end of the game. The end of the game is triggered when the total score of all players combined is 20 times the number of players, which seems like needlessly intricate point system, but in any case, the game is very simple. You're just going to roll all 9 of the basic die on your turn and then see what happens. Now, there are 3 types of dice in the game. You have maiden dice, monster dice, and the hero dice. Now, the maiden dice are the purple ones, and they have more maidens than monsters and heroes. The monster die is the green one, and that has more monsters than heroes and maidens. And you have the hero die, which has more heroes than maidens and monsters. So very, very simple to get there. So you're going to roll all 9 of these dice, 3 of each. There's the other one. And then see what happens on the dice. Now, any and all maidens that you roll are automatically going to get rescued, so you'll put them on your hero card. So then you're going to compare monsters to heroes. Now, if there's the same amount of heroes to monsters, then they cancel each other out. So every monster cancels out a hero and vice versa. If there were more heroes, then, well, let's do the monsters first. If there are more monsters than heroes, then the monster is going to capture one of your maidens that you just rescued. So you're going to move that over to the monster card. If it was the other way around and there was already a maiden on the monster card and you had more heroes than monsters, then for every one that you're over, you get to rescue a maiden that had previously been captured. And then at that point, if all the dice have not come up as either monsters or heroes or maidens, then you have the option of re-rolling what's left. So you can roll the rest of the dice and hope that you get even more points. But at any time, if you're not required to end your roll by rolling all the same of one thing, then you can just voluntarily stop and score whatever you have. Now the game comes, my copy of the game came with these little maiden meeples here, which come in pink and purple. And they are what they recommend to use for scoring, otherwise using a pen and paper. But they don't tell you what denomination you can count each of them as. So we were just counting them as 1s and 5s. Choose whatever color you like. And again, whoever has the most amount of points by the time that's the total number of points equals 20 times the number of players is going to be the winner. That's it. That is all the base game is. Now, there is an epic dice expansion that came with my copy of the game, which I think will be sold separately, that includes these 4 special dice. You have a season die, an adventure die, a fate die, and a tool die. And you're going to roll these together with the other 9 dice at the start of your turn, and then apply their effects at certain times. So the season die you'll resolve first, and that's going to say things like, let's take a look at one of those. Let's say that the winter symbol came up. Then that means that you have to ignore a rolled dragon or king face on the adventure die. If it was spring, then the monsters are suffering from hay fever, and you have to remove a monster die before you roll for the turn. Other things like the adventure die are going to, the dragon's going to carry off maidens, and the knight is going to fight off 2 monsters at the same time, and honestly, like, they all just do different things, and none of them are particularly interesting. So let's go ahead and go to my final thoughts. Well, that's Monsters and Maidens, and whoo boy, this game sucks. It is awful. I have a huge pet peeve about laziness in game design. If you're gonna go through all the trouble of making a game, spending the money, spending the time, getting the crew together, getting artwork, getting components assembled, making people wait on your crappy Kickstarter, guess what? You need to deliver a game that at least offers something new. All right? And if you're going to spend all that time doing all those things, why don't you go and spend 10 minutes looking to see if someone has designed a game that does what this game is trying to do, but better, much better. And if you still want to make a game after that, why don't you try and learn from that game? Or, like, I'm thinking of King of Tokyo in this instance. Or, how about looking to see if someone did this type of game and it was terrible, like Dungeon Roll, okay? This game is even worse than Dungeon Roll. There is nothing here. There's nothing here. It is mindless. You roll the dice and hope that they come up in your favor. But there's no decisions here. The decision is, do I keep going or do I sit on this amount of points? That's it. Okay? I am very ashamed of my Dungeon Roll review because I don't think I was hard enough on that game. It was like the second review I ever did, and I just wanted to hurry up and get it done and be the first to have it up, and I didn't take the time to play it more than like 3 times, and after 3 times I should have known something was up, but trust me, that game was terrible, and it was terrible because it was, even with 6 people, or whatever the max player count was, it was still felt like a solitaire game, and not a very interesting one at that. Monsters and Maidens is even worse than that. I wouldn't even play this as a solitaire game ever because it's not exciting. It's the same thing over and over and over again. It's annoying because you're constantly having to pass around the 2 cards that come in the game. Oh, I'm sorry. They give you a female hero card just as like a, oh, I guess people, they even say this in the rule book. People complained that there wasn't any feminine aspect to the game, so they threw in that card. Well, I'm glad that someone had to complain for them to realize it was probably a good idea to have women represented in the game, more than something that was just points for you to acquire. Okay, so that's a little annoying too. But the fact that they wouldn't even print more cards for the number of players, so you're not constantly passing around the cards as well as the dice. I can understand not printing more or manufacturing more dice because those can be expensive. And if I'm going to be honest here, what I do like about the game is the artwork and the dice. Those are really cool. And if you get the optional extra little maiden meeples, okay, those are cool. There is no good game to go along with that. It's so boring. It's pure luck and randomness. I don't mind randomness, but let me have some input, some strategy, something I can do to actually affect my game. And how about letting the other players in on the game as well while I'm rolling? How about letting them do something? Because they're doing nothing while I'm rolling. And I'm doing nothing while they're rolling. And I like games that encourage people to not check their phone while the other person is taking their turn. This game, I highly recommend if you're going to play it, have your phone ready, have your iPad ready, because you're going to have some downtime where you're doing nothing while the other people are rolling. I'm sorry to get angry about this, but this is just freaking lazy, and it is everything that people complain about regarding Game Salute crystallized into one game. It took too long to deliver. Everything about the gameplay is terrible, inefficient, and lacking in fun. And I just want people to represent this hobby that I love so much better than what they have been, because this is just not a good example that I would ever want to show people, to show them that our hobby is wonderful and awesome and fun. This is not fun. This is a game that would have been created back in the 70s before people knew what fun was. Okay, now I'm bashing people in the 70s, but anyways, avoid this game like the plague. It's boring, it's dumb. There's so many better options for probably the same price, or maybe a little bit more. Other than the artwork and the components, I mean, if you're like a homebrew person, yeah, get the components and make them into a better game, but don't play the game that's included in the box because it's awful. My name is Nick. This has been Board Game Brawl. I'm so angry I can't talk. I'm reminding you to get out there and game every day and in every way. Take care. Okay, sorry, time out. I have one last angry thing to say about this game, just so you know that I thoroughly tried to find something of value in this game. I played it with the Epic Dice expansion that came with my Kickstarter copy of the game, hoping that, yeah, some new cool, unique dice, adventure dice, and tool dice, and seasons dice might add something to the game and make it better. In fact, it made it worse. It was just more dumb things to keep track of. There's like, again, there's only one card for each die telling what the dice do, so you're going to constantly have to pass those back and forth as well, because every side of the die does something different. It's new things to keep track of, new rules that just slow the game down. Besides the components, you might have made the argument that at least the game was fast. This makes it slow, even slower, and it frustrates you even more. It's making you lose dice now. So, oh great, the one core mechanic of the game is that I get to roll dice, but now I'm losing dice because either the monsters are on vacation or the heroes are on hiatus or something or other. It doesn't save the game. I tried it with this, still doesn't save the game. Totally not worth it. So if you've already got your copy of Monsters and Maidens and are like, I wish this game was better, I'll try going for the expansion. Don't. Not gonna help. Alright, that's all. Bye.